Evening, everyone. Saturday night, we are back. Season 3 of Celtic FC Appreciation Podcast. A TikTok star of very own John Tierney has joined us. He was, I believe, you were pre-season in, was it Vienna you went to, John?
Vienna, mate. Took the scenic route there and the scenic route back, but it was a nice wee getaway, and seeing Celtic made it all fantastic.
What did you think? What did you think his pre-season?
I always think that it's good just getting the, it's like every season you get the games under players' belts. You'll see a massive rotation of players during pre-season. You'll see players that are kind of coming back for injury. You'll see players that are ones that are going to be starting this year, only getting a certain amount of game time. You'll see many kind of rotations and that sort of thing. But it's like any other season. You just want them to be fulfilling for the players. And gets them used to all types of environments, whether we're playing against an Austrian D team or we're playing somebody as good as Legia Warsaw. You've got to have these sort of balances in. But yeah, what's been your kind of thoughts for these games?
To be honest, I'm not a big pre-season kind of guy. I don't tend to watch my team pre-season because I just think there's it's a good excuse to see the fringe players and see new players that you bring in. But in my opinion, I just think the games aren't exciting enough unless you're going and playing a top teams like Bayern Munich and Juventus and Barcelona. Things like that, I don't really get pre-season. I have seen a bit of pre-season. I watched the Legia game. That was probably the only game that I seen in full, and I thought first half, I think in many games that I seen highlights of, I think we seemed to start well, come out the traps well, score goals, and then just lose stupid goals at the back. I know Carter Vickers get caught out against Legia kind of thing, but as I say, if you're going to have defensive lapses, you're better getting it done in pre-season, to be honest.
That's pretty much it, guys. I mean, the whole point is that I think that you've got to look at it from the perspective that the players just need game time. Whether they're new, whether they're on loan, whether they've just came in, and obviously we're talking about the transfers. But it's one of the ones that when I went to Vienna and I went to see Rapid, I thought, well, if we get goals here, our players look hungry, which they did. We can point out standout players already. We could maybe say that I've been doing all right. One being Matt O'Reilly for me. I think he's kind of lit something up. But we can, look forward to a season where we'll have Champions League football, where we'll have, a full squad. We'll have, a very, very, very exciting squad. And Angie's well aware of, what needs to come and what's in store for him.
Yeah, as I say, lots to talk about, lots to get through. Christopher McLean has obviously joined us. Evening, Chris. Del Boy, obviously, if you haven't seen his podcast, get on his socials. He's good crack. Really, really big Celtic guy. He loves it. Keith Corcoran's Come On Hoops Celtic. Get on his page, get on his channels. I know he's into TikTok. I'm not. I still don't really get it, to be honest. Hopefully John can post some TikTok stuff for us this season. But as I say, lots to talk about, guys. Obviously, this first episode of the new season, we are sponsored once again by Iconic Sporting Moments. If you haven't came across them, check them out. They do prints from all great sporting moments, legendary moments, from all different types of sports. Really, really worth checking out. Really, really cheap, reasonably priced, and they're really great to get framed stuff. I've literally not got enough room in the house to get anything else up. So, and also the WT company based in Dunfermline, do a large selection of teas and coffees. If you haven't already checked them out, get on them. If you're a tea drinker like me. But as I say, lots to talk about tonight, guys. The close of season at the end of it, we're a successful season. We've won the double under Angie's first season. The transfers, ins and outs, who's possibly still going to go out in the transfer window in the next month. We're going to be doing a pre-season review of who we played and who we beat. I was going to touch on the Champions League and the group stages and who we might get, but I think we might leave that for a separate show near the time. Expectations, we're going to be talking about what to expect in Angie's second season. Will it be second season syndrome, or will it be more success for the boys? We're going to be looking out at certain players that are going to stand out this season. Who's impressed you in pre-season so far? We want to know. And also we will look at the B team's chances this season in the Lowland League second season. And of course the women's team, Fran Alonso and the girls, will want to kick on from the double cup success last season. So John, we'll get straight into it. Transfer talk. Obviously Ange's been busy. He knows who he wants. He's went out and got them. Who do you think's been the best buy so far? I know we've not seen everybody yet in the team, but who do you think looks the best buy?
For me, Gary, it's Cameron Carter-Vickers. I think even with the fact that we had him on loan last year and got him across the line, I think at the start of the season we looked at Jota, and I think Jota was one that we thought get him signed up right away. Showing real talent, real aggression, real drive, real fantastic movement, and he's great. Obviously, another signing we got across the line, but getting Cameron Carter-Vickers over the line. Because we looked at the context of last year, we looked at the course of the games, and we've seen a consistency, in terms of his strength, his defending and his passing, and he's just overall kind of play with, Starfelt beside him was really consistently good. And I felt as though, that's something that, we missed a little, I think, in the previous seasons, and the kind of, obviously, you look back historically at Celtic and big centre halves like Van Dijk and stuff like that, and we've got to be kind of up there with good solid defenders. Cameron Carter-Vickers stood out for me, so to get him across the line was tremendous. But who was the standout for you?
To be honest, I mean, I think, as you say, the important ones where we all wanted Jota and Carter-Vickers over the line. Dyson Maeda, for me, I know that was always a certainty that we were going to get him, but I think people forget that he was only on loan for the second half of the season, the Duracell Bunny. He's saying that there's more to come from him. He still isn't fully 100% at it. God knows, God help the rest of the league when he's fully at it, because it was phenomenal in the second half of last season. I think for me, I know Maurice Jens is on loan. I don't know if he's maybe going to be looking to get a permanent move here, but for me, I think it's a steal, absolutely, to get him on a free. Benji Siegrist for Dundee United. When you look at the saves he made for Dundee United last season, he knows the league, he knows it well now. He obviously played well against not just us, but Rangers as well. So, I think I wouldn't be worried if we had to throw him in during the season at any point. And the question I posed the other night was, will Ange go down the kind of Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp route where he might play him in the cups? So he might leave Joe Hart for the Champions League and the league, and he might play Siegrist in the cups. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I think he might do that. I think, Joe Hart has played a lot of games last year, if not pretty much every game. He's kind of pretty much started, and Joe Hart, it's obviously, he's got to have backup. He's got to have somebody there where, if he needs to go away or he needs to, take time off, then there's Siegrist there who can step up and save goals, and he can save really well. And you've seen it in a couple of games, kind of snippets of Siegrist making good saves over these friendly games. So it's nice to have that, little bit of security. You touched on Welch there. Obviously, I think he's a fantastic signing going forward. Hopefully, it can be something that we talk about. Again, the Argentinian Bernabe, mate. Again, is it Bernabe? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think there's so many people have tried to.
So first Argentinian to play for Celtic. Great. He shows snippets of his pace. I watched the YouTube video, but again, you can see the high intensity, him getting up the park really quickly and getting good balls into the box and actually scoring as well. I think he wants his full back scoring. I think you've kind of seen snippets of that with Greg Taylor last year, just scoring goals kind of at the odd occasion. And yeah, that's really exciting going forward. And then obviously bringing in somebody like Aaron Moy. Moy, obviously Australian national team legend. Like, he loved. I think he loved Scottish football when he was here the first time round at St Mirren, but maybe we didn't anticipate him coming back to Celtic. But again, He's improved a lot since then, and hopefully now Aaron Moy, obviously getting his fitness up to kind of a good level, and will kind of show. So we're in for a really exciting season. I think, Gary, we're in for a season where we've brought in boys that are looking to play to Ange's standard, and that's the difference. That's the difference.
Aye, as I say, like we have brought in a lot of top players and exciting looking players, and I think for me the good thing going forward this season is there's a bit of stability where the players know each other. So the likes of getting Jota and Carter Vickers and Maeda on permanence, especially, they've obviously played in the same team together. They know how each other works. They know what each other's thinking. So that can only be good for us. In terms of who's went out then, obviously Liam Scales away up to Aberdeen on loan. Sorrow away to Portugal, I think it is, on loan. Urigide just went out yesterday to Ostend in Belgium. Montgomery at St Johnstone, and Connor Hazard still at Helsinki. So in terms of do you think there's any players in that list maybe that you would have liked to have seen maybe given a chance this season, or do you think you're not surprised by who's went out so far?
I think even as well, Gary, I think you've got to mention Mikey Johnson. There's talks of him perhaps going to another club on loan. I think what you've got to remember is Ange's looking for a standard where you've got chances to return back to Celtic. You get chances to get into his team. There's a level of fitness, a level of aggression, a level of desire that Ange pretty much expects. There'll be guys queued up to basically play at a certain standard, throughout the course of the season, because players will get injured and players will need replaced, and there'll be changes across the board. But I think the players that have went out, we've had them historically. I'm not saying that they're bad players in any way, shape or form. Maybe they just need, to try their skill elsewhere. They need to try their, get their pace up or get their fitness up, get their game time up, and return better players. We've seen it last year, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I think Ange's quite fair in that regard, that he wants these players out on loan to actually get a chance to improve themselves. And that doesn't actually stagnate the players, doesn't bring them down, it doesn't hurt them in any way, shape or form. It just gives them a chance to show their skills elsewhere, whilst we've got fantastic players maintaining a high level of football. And obviously the Ange ball that we all love.
Yeah, and that's the thing, obviously, because in terms of you were touching on Mikey Johnson there, I was surprised by Ange's kind of quote yesterday that he thinks there is a decent footballer in there, and maybe it just needs, as you say, a different league or a different style of football just to bring it out in him, and just to kind of get that player that we kind of know that is in there. But obviously with Mikey, it's going to be injury worries all the time. It's always going to be, is he too injury prone, and can he stay injury free? So obviously that will be decided whether, I think he is going to go out on loan. I think it has pretty much been confirmed that he will go out on loan somewhere, whether that's Standard Liège, whether that's Hibernian or wherever kind of thing. Stephen Welch is obviously another player that's been mentioned is heading for the exit door, albeit on loan. I don't know if that will be a late decision in the window. I'd imagine so, because I know he's pretty much going to play tomorrow, and he'll probably partner, I'm thinking, Carter Vickers. So, do you see Celtic pushing for a loan deal for Welsh, or do you think Ange kind of fancies him a bit in the team this year?
I think Ange would like to retain him. I think I think Stephen Welsh is obviously he's a great centre half. I think he wants to play for Celtic. He's proven that he is a good centre half, and I think it's difficult because you've got Carter Vickers, you've got Starfelt coming back, but I think we need to keep or retain our centre halves intact. We've got Julian who can obviously play there. But I feel as though Stephen Welsh has contributed this kind of like maybe a second or third defender, which we've got. It'd be just nice to keep him. I know Juranovic can tuck in there. I know Ralston can play centre half, but having the two options for centre back each, or four options, it's something that we need to make sure that we've got. The offers that have come in have been the valuation. Obviously, I think is below what's required for Stephen Welch. I think he's a better player than what's been valued at for him anyway. It'd have to be an offer which is sort of over and above the market value. It needs to be a good offer.
So do you think then, obviously £3.5 million is a figure that's getting bandied about? Do you think that's should be maybe over 5 million we're talking?
Yeah, without doubt. I think you're talking at least 5 or 6 million in terms of valuation. I think he is good enough to be that amount. And he's a player that whether he goes or stays, he's a good asset to Celtic. And we do need that security at the back. If any part of the plan falls away, Starfield's injured just now or maybe coming back from injury. But for example, Starfield gets injured. Do we bring in Ulayne? Is Ulayne up to speed? Time will tell.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, defence has been a worry for us in recent times, and obviously even pre-season, which we're just going to touch on now, is obviously we've been leaking goals as well, and we shouldn't really be leaking goals, kind of thing. What I would just say is any questions or comments, guys, you have about Celtic over the pre-season into the new season, let us know what you're thinking. Get your questions and comments into us. So pre-season review, John. You were in Vienna. Can I just talk us through in terms of what's it like to go to a pre-season game, in terms of for anybody that's not been thinking, I want to go to a pre-season tournament, a pre-season game, which I know there's a lot of travelling, especially when it's in Vienna.
Well, the way I can sum it up is you can expect the unexpected. I think the pre-season is. I always think when you're looking at going to see Celtic, most of the fans will probably go to the Champions League games, the European games, Europa League, and will fly during the course of the autumn or winter to obviously these places. With Celtic not having any qualifiers this year, I took the notion that, okay, I'm going to go to a game during the summer. I wanted to go, and it was a Saturday in Rapid Vienna, and I thought, let's just go to it. And I went, I went the scenic route to get there, but I went down to Liverpool, flew from Liverpool to Vienna. So be prepared to travel. The way back, I had to fly from Vienna all the way up to Latvia and Riga. So obviously pretty much the Baltic coast, where our flight was meant to be 11 o'clock at night, but the flight got delayed until I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning. We went to board the aircraft and they said, sorry, your flight's pretty much like it's not happening. So it's delayed to the next day. It was delayed to 3 o'clock. So basically by the time I got up the road, it was 7 o'clock the next day. So obviously expect, just when you're travelling to see Celtic, expect the unexpected, and obviously extend your travel insurance out for longer slightly. That was just a personal kind of travel review. Going to see the game itself, you'll expect probably less fans than you would normally see, but it is good because you all kind of stick together. It's all you get to know Celtic fans who are just committed to going to these places, which are nice. But at the same time, you also meet Celtic fans who have stayed over in Europe and want to travel down to see Celtic, or they've lived there for years and want to see Celtic. And you see people across Europe just kind of following Celtic and seeing Celtic and going, "You're playing today, aren't you?" And then they'll obviously know, and it's nice, it's everywhere you go. Celtic, it's just in your heart and in your soul. But expect the unexpected when it comes to travel. Enjoy yourself, have a good time, experience the culture, and let's hear your voices.
Exactly. I mean, as I say, I'm not a fan of pre-season, but I think if it was I have been to pre-season games before where we played in tournaments against Leicester. We played Leicester City after they became champions a few years ago. And, that sort of thing was decent. And if you're playing decent opposition, then it obviously helps. But I think with the greatest respect, when you're playing teams like Vienna Victoria, and winning 7-0, you can't really get a kind of an idea how your team's going to play for the new season. I have to say, it does not seem like 6 weeks ago that we were celebrating winning the league. I have to say, it does not seem like 6 weeks ago. I cannot believe the time's just flown in. But as I say, we'll talk about pre-season. So we did our first game against Vienna Victoria in Vienna, 7-0. goals from all over the park. Hatate, Johnston, Julian actually I think he stole Johnny Kenny's hat-trick off him. I think Kenny was ready to knock the ball into net, and big Julian stole in ahead. James Forrest and Rocco Vata. So obviously, great to see like Sir Julian back playing, obviously, and Hatate beginning where he kind of left off from. But I think in terms of seeing players like Rocco Vata and Johnny Kenny, now Rocco Vata we'll touch on first. Karamoko Dembele's obviously left Celtic. Didn't really get a chance at the club. Do you think he must be kind of thinking, I've just left the club doing everything I could to get into the team, and Rocco Vata's just stepped into that team and scored? So do you think there's a wee bit of maybe a hang me with Dembele in terms of why he didn't get his chance at Celtic?
I think Dembele was one which we've seen him play, and I've always thought he's a great player. His height was obviously something that was, it was up for discussion because, in terms of his height, he is low in height, but he's a fantastic, very well skilled footballer, and I think he can be skilled in any team he goes into. Sometimes the sad part of football is that when you're on the fringes of a team, then you have to really work hard to actually get in the team. And obviously, we don't see these players behind closed doors. We see the players, when they turn up on the park, and maybe the goals just never happened for Dembele, in which was kind of anticipated. Rocco Vata, a player that's kind of sort of just stepped up this season. It'll be exciting to see him, but as you can appreciate, it's just the sad reality of football that we have. So many players that can, either make the team or not make the team. It's the sad part of it. But fingers crossed, Rocco Vata can score goals this year.
Yeah, so obviously, we talked about Rocco Vata, and he does look like an exciting talent, an exciting prospect for the first team eventually. Johnny Kenny, do you think he looks maybe more ready for the first team from what you've seen of him?
Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I know that game, that first game, Vienna Victoria, he looked fantastic. He looked, sharp. He loved the goals. I think he maybe just needs, a couple of bench games come on, maybe against like a St Mirren or somebody kind of easy, and then just bring him on for the last kind of half an hour, see what he can do if we're maybe 2-0 up. But whether these guys will feature, time will tell. We've got so many options this year that it's a wonder where everybody's going to play and how we're going to play all these players. I wish we could have maybe 15 in a team, like 18, 22 instead of just 11, because we've got some amount of players that are really talented.
Yeah, and as I say, so obviously it was a great start to pre-season. As I say, not a great opposition in terms of talent, but we then went on to play Rapid Vienna. Obviously a team who we've got history with. Not all great history, to be honest. We've got a few players from them, but obviously an exciting game, 3 each, and goals from O'Reilly, Turnbull, and Kyogo. Great to see Kyogo back in his score sheet as well. But for me, I think the player that's going to excite me most this season is going to be David Turnbull if he stays fit.
David is, 2 seasons ago, I can't believe it's been that long ago, but 2 seasons ago, player of the year, players, I don't know if it's Scottish Writers Player of the Year as well. He was fantastic, David Turnbull. But again, David Turnbull, a player that Ange's, tended to play a lot more, especially in these games. I think we can expect to see a lot of David. I really rate him. I think he's fantastic. It's one of the ones where goals are going to come from all these players. I think he's going to expect goals from absolutely everybody in the front six or the front, even the full. But I think everybody's entitled to a goal in that Celtic team. Put it that way. I think you have to be willing to score plenty of goals. I think Ange's wanting to start the season as he means to go on. So obviously the pre-season review is obviously. It's for us to look at it and go, right, these games are just to get players up to speed. And now's when the season begins. This is where business as of tomorrow, or as of this season. This is a time where everybody has to be ready. So that game against Rapid, I thought it was an exciting game. And I thought, we deserved to draw, but we actually deserved to win. I think they scored at the last minute.
Your last kick of the ball, I think, was a header from the corner.
So it wasn't even gutting. We were celebrating anyway. But it was it's nice to get players up to kind of full fitness.
Yeah, I should just point out this is no magic juice. This is just pure orange, unfortunately. I know it's Saturday night, but we've got a product placement, so if anybody from Starbucks is watching. No, but another midfielder that's looking like he's really going to hit the ground running as well. He had a great debut season last year, Matt O'Reilly. Purchased from MK Dons, absolute steal as well. When you look at what we could have had Riley McGree. He went to Middlesbrough. We end up getting Matt O'Reilly. I think we got the best end of that deal, to be honest. In terms of that midfield, it's a congested midfield. So, who is your ideal midfield to start on Sunday, maybe?
Do you know that's the hardest question that I could have been asked tonight? So, the midfield. Well, obviously you're going to have Callum McGregor in there, captain, starting off. I think Hatate deserves to be in there. I think Matt O'Reilly deserves to be in there as well. In that three. So that's that's probably the three. I know we can talk about David Turnbull. Does he deserve to go in front? Possibly. But you've got guys that are waiting, just ready to go in there. You've got Aaron Moy, you've got Idaguchi, you've got so many players that you could just fire in there. Could you expect them to do the same job as these guys? Who knows? But the three there, I think, are the most consistent, and I think you're pretty much guaranteed security and obviously a good standard of play. Who would be your front three? Or no, front three?
Well, I think to be honest, the five in the midfield, obviously the front three isn't really going to change. I know James Forrest signed the new deal, but for me it's always going to be Abada, Jota, he'll go up top. I do agree with you in terms of Kalmack in the middle with Hatate and probably Turnbull for me. I think Turnbull and O'Reilly especially are going to rotate. I think they're just going to rotate game to game. And they're going to be coming off the bench for each other, things like that. Turnbull is got a great finish on him, and I think he's looking more composed this season from what I've seen him so far. So I'm hoping that we can put on a show tomorrow. But that would certainly be my kind of five. Obviously, in terms of I said we were leaking goals. We leaked 3 against Rapid, and then went to play Bankia Strava in the Czech Republic. When it was a 4-2 victory for Celtic, and great to see Jackie Makis on the score sheet. He's going to be a player where, I don't know if you would play Kyogo on Sunday, or Jackie Makis, or maybe both. But in terms of, do you think Kyogo's going to get the kind of nod and Jackie Makis is going to be coming off or just playing some games?
I think it will be. I couldn't tell you, but I think it'll be a variety pack. I think you'll have Kyogo playing. Kyogo's my starter for me, because I just feel as though the start of the season he loves to score goals, and getting the goals in at this time of the season is so important. The number of goals, the volume of goals is so important. I think you might probably get a better rate out of Kyogo than you would Jackie Makis. Time will tell. Yeah. But I think it'll just be a similar situation to last season. Yeah,
and obviously, we then came back to Celtic Park to play the two English teams, Blackburn and Norwich. The Blackburn game, that was probably the two games that I actually seen apart from the Lega game. But Jota back in the score sheet, he looks hungry. He can play in the left, he can play in the right. For me, I think he is better on the left. I think he's more prolific on the left and can be more dangerous. He can play in the right, but I don't think you get as much out of him. But then again, if you play him on the left, you're kind of dropping Maeda. So that's what I'm saying. It's that with the midfield being so congested, and you only having one body up front, and that's always going to be Kyogo or Giakoumakis. You're going to be dropping a lot of players. There's going to be a lot of players that's unhappy. But in terms of Jota going forward, what are you expecting out of him in terms of goals, in terms of how many assists he can get? Actually, just lost him for a minute. Just going to see if we can get him back. Yeah. So as I say, guys, John's just having a wee bit of technical difficulty. But if you've got any comments or questions about Celtic, fire them into us. As I say, we're just talking about pre-season. If you've just tuned in, if you've just joined us, we're talking about Celtic's pre-season games. Tell us what you think. Yeah. So as I say, with the game against Blackburn, we drew 2 each. Jota and Turnbull. Turnbull, a composed finish. Jota was a great finish as well in the first half. I felt like, Blackburn gave us a good test. I felt like it was I'm actually just going to try and get John back in. Here he is, hopefully. There we go. Technical difficulties. First week of the season. Let's get the gremlins out the right way.
Do you know what I was doing, mate? I've just see when I was offline there, mate. I was just thinking about Andrew's jumper. I just have wee visions. And I'm like, if there's some.
Oh, he's gone again, John. You need to get your internet sorted.
Mate, I'm still here.
Are you still here? All right, that's all right.
I'm still there.
Yeah, Del Boy's just saying usual keyboard warriors. I see. Yeah, just had a few comments that they're just needing blocked kind of thing. But listen, the team on the other side of the city won today, so they think they're Jack the Lad now, but obviously struggled to beat Livingston today. So we'll give them that one this week. Just in terms of then, obviously, we're talking about Jota there. What are you expecting from him? Obviously, great first season at Celtic. Loves the club, loves the fans. How many goals do you think you see him scoring?
Just far too many. I think Jota will contribute lots of goals this year. I think he looks exciting. I think to even have him playing for us is just a great feeling because it excites the fans. His step overs, his movement, his pace, the way that he loves the club, the way that he talks about the club, everything about Jota is great. So we've really fallen in love with Jota, and they always say don't fall in love with loan players, and now we've got him in a contract so we can fall in love with him. This is going to be something special, I think, from Jota. Yeah,
I think it's the start of something beautiful, definitely. In terms of the two English teams, did you think there was much competition there with I don't know if you were at the Blackburn and Norwich games, but do you think there was much competition there? I felt especially the Blackburn game, there was a wee bit of needle there, which was great to see because, obviously there weren't any injuries or serious injuries, but, you just need that, I think, maybe a couple of weeks before the season kicks off to get your team up and ready.
It gets players thinking, it definitely gets players into the kind of the frame of mind that this will happen during the course of the season. And how they manage it and how they deal with it is something that they'll learn from. The Blackburn game, I think the final score was 2 each, was it, Gary?
From 2 each, yeah.
So, it wasn't the worst game, wasn't the best. It was sort of average, but. I think the main thing was getting players up to fitness. I mean, Ange came out and said it. I think that, he gets players ready for the season, not the other way about, the pre-season games aren't there to be won, but it's to get every player ready to win and learn from every mistake, because no doubt in the lead up to this game, the start of the season and throughout the course of the season, Ange will have these players ready, and that's got to be the main ultimatum,
Yeah, and then obviously, that Japanese connection and against Legia. We actually sadly retired Arthur after 45 minutes, I think somebody wrote. We played that well in the first half. I think he wanted off after the first half in Poland. So I would have loved to have seen him play the full game, which was, to be honest, I was very, very surprised with the way it worked out, because I thought, I didn't think it was a great atmosphere at the game. I felt if Celtic had hosted the game, I think, you can imagine at 60,000, probably inside Celtic Park, singing the Holy Goalie, giving him a real farewell, because I just felt like he probably enjoyed it, but I just think it could have been made so much better, and I genuinely don't know really why he didn't play the full 90 minutes. I get that he wanted other keepers to get their bow and get a chance, but to be honest, the other keepers were better in the second half, so that's why I was probably quite disappointed that he went off after 45. Just then, in just terms of your memories of Boris, what's your kind of best memories of the Holy Goalie?
Oh, that save against Man United, the
penalty save.
Penalty save, that was just wonderful, mate. Absolutely wonderful. And obviously Shakhtar Donetsk to get into the Champions League, obviously that was very memorable. What about yourself, mate? What's been your standout with Arthur?
Do you know what? I think probably in terms of, if we're no talking saves, maybe the penalty they scored against Dundee United in the semi-final. I think it was the League Cup at Hampden, and it was like 10 each, and it went down to, obviously, I think it went down to the keepers, and I think both keepers actually scored. Zaluska, who eventually joined us after that season, I think it was Willow Flood that's missed for Dundee United, and funnily enough, he joined not long after. So, no, as I say, for me, that penalty that he hit was unreal, right in the top bin. But I think probably the nut job that he is at Ibrox, when he ran over, and I think they actually get beat that day, but he ran over and grabbed a champions flag off of one of the fans and was waving it about Ibrox. And I think he ran to Neil Lennon, and I think even Neil Lennon was like, "Oh, piss off you," do you know what I mean? Like, as if to go, "I know I'm a nut job, but come on, like, we're in Ibrox now," do you know what I mean? Like, for me, that will always be the memory I'll have of Arthur Boruc, to be honest. The penalty save against Manchester United was, it was a blur. It was an absolute blur, because obviously Nakamura bangs in a free kick, and then he saves the penalty. It's chaos, and nobody knows what they're doing. And then I don't think anybody knew that we'd qualified after the game. I think people thought we still needed a point or something. So I think Gordon Strachan famously had to be told by the reporter that we were through to the knockout stages. So just obviously then, in terms of going back to like prolific players, then we're going to look at players that's going to stand out for the team this season. I've already mentioned Turnbull. Look, you could pick so many, but I think Turnbull for me is definitely going to be a player to watch if he stays injury free. Is there anybody in terms of defence or midfield that that you can think of that's going to maybe light the SPL on fire this year?
I think people might disagree with me here in this one, and I'll totally accept why. And I think this is going to be something that people might say, well, he's fed up, he's finished, he might have had his time. I know it sounds strange. I think James Forrest, right? And I know it sounds strange, I know it sounds weird, but I think we can expect to see more of him. But whether he will stand out or not is obviously important. Something which is obviously debatable. I know he's not going to be featured in every game, but I think he will stand out in the games which he'll play, because this is something which I remember looking at the setup Ange's got, and I seen James Forrest in pre-season working very, very hard, and I thought, I reckon he could stand out for us this season. And I don't know why. I put myself in the line, see if he falls and it's failure, I'll take it. But as you can appreciate, it's something that came across my mind. I think if you're going to look at guarantee standouts, I think Matt O'Reilly. I think he looks hungry. I think the movement of him. Obviously Rogic leaving. I'll not cry, mate. But if Rogic's leaving is something that obviously we need to try and fill the void, and we're hoping Matt O'Reilly just fills that. Hatate as well. I think we can expect to see more fitness out of Hatate. I think towards the tail end of last season, the fitness started kind of peeling off. So I expect to see kind of goals from him. Again, the two boys which we wanted to sign up, Jota and Carter Vickers, I think we can expect what we can expect from them. And then obviously just as many goals, if not more goals this season from the boys up top. Kyogo, Maeda, Yakimakis, Abada, all these guys on form. I think that's, where we'll get to. But I wanted to just give a big mention about James Boris. I think he'll feature in more games than, Livingston. I looked at Livingston today, and, they're a team where last year James Forrest scored, he won man of the match, and I thought there'll be games that he'll stand out in, and that's, my answer.
Yeah, as I say, I think you could probably look at the midfield and think you could pick out half a dozen players that's going to be like, oh, they'll be good, because I think there's a lot of excitement around Matt O'Reilly, especially. We know what these players can do from last season, so, nothing's going to surprise us kind of thing. And obviously it's great that he's been called up for the Denmark team and things like that, Jane, because I think that's a great kind of team to be playing in, a really hungry, successful team, and they'll make a better player out of him, especially playing in that Celtic midfield. But then, just in terms of probably what we can expect, then what would be a successful season for us this season?
Winning the league. I think, first of all, I think we have to now make some headway in Europe. And I know it sounds strange. I know it's probably something that we might be asking a bit if you were asking me this last year, I would have literally just said, if we can get up to kind of competing for the league title, I'd be happy. Just competing. We won the league. We won the League Cup. We could have won the Scottish Cup. Obviously, that was a sad time. But as I say, not the end of the world. But obviously, I think Celtic, with obviously we in Glasgow, we compare it to the other side, and the other side maybe made a European final, and then they lost that final. That's obviously their problem, not ours. But we've got to, I think, make headway in Europe, whether that be qualifying for the last 16, might be too much to ask, or just qualifying for kind of third place. Something along those lines. What would you see, Gary? What would you see as kind of?
I think to be honest, I think the Champions League is going to be a bonus. Obviously, it's going to be exciting because we've not had to go to the arse end anywhere during pre-season and have to play these qualifiers. So it's great that we've not had that to worry about. And I think, to be honest, I know a lot of Celtic fans have kind of been on and have been like, oh, like, we're going to get a doing, we're going to get pumped 7-0 and blah, blah, blah. If it happens, it happens. We're not going into a Champions League group and going to start playing like we were 20 years ago under Martin O'Neill, where we made Celtic Park into a fortress and we were beating Juventus and we were, getting results against Bayern Munich and Villarreal and Valencia and Barcelona. That's not going to happen overnight. So you're going to need to maybe take a few downs, but try and stay in the Champions League, try and qualify every year for the Champions League, because you will get better at it and you will start beating these teams again. But for me, I really want to see like a really good Champions League group, and if we get into the last 16, brilliant. But I think, to be honest, we'll be really doing well if we finish third in the group, whatever group we end up in. So in terms of bread and butter as a league, absolutely bread and butter. And I prefer the Scottish Cup to the League Cup. And I know the League Cup's the first trophy of the season, and I believe that actually spurred us on to go and win the league, because I think it's a catalyst for what you do for the rest of the season, because it's so early. And I know they've moved it because of the World Cup, so the League Cup final is now going to be in February next year, kind of thing, rather than December. But I think, to be honest, League in the Scottish Cup and have a bit of fun in the Champions League, I think that's going to be a season where Celtic fans will walk away thinking really, really enjoyed that season. And then obviously, I just hope we don't get to a stage where we might win the next couple of titles and the fans start, here we go, 10 in a row chants again, Jane, because I don't think I could emotionally invest myself in a 10 in a row chant again after the last time. But do you know what? For the first 4 years of that 10 in a row stint, I genuinely was like, no, it's not happening. We're not going to get that far. We'll get to 6 and we'll lose it. And the further it went on, COVID hit, and we secured 9 in a row. And I genuinely went into 10 in a row believing we were going to do the job, we were going to complete it, we were going to win 10-0, and there was going to be parties in George Square, and there was going to be absolute scenes, honestly. But, it didn't happen, and we've moved on, and we've forgotten all about it, kind of. But no, I think that would be a successful season. One guy we've not mentioned so far that is on his way out, Ian Bankia, Celtic chairman and director. He is stepping down in January. Been at the club since 2011. Was made, I think, was made chairman or director in October 2011. In terms of, what's your opinions on Ian Bankia and his legacy at the club?
Well, he steps down. Who's his replacement? That's a question. Is it Peter Lawwell? I seen there was a report or something. Somebody wrote something that Peter Lawwell might come back to step in his place.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I think you've got to look at it from perspective. It's been successful. The business of Celtic has been one of the best run football club businesses in Scotland. It's been well managed, and yes, it's been hard across the years to be a little bit more frugal, keep the biscuit tin closed. But hopefully, with the time now, obviously the biscuit tin's opened again, hopefully somewhat.
Yeah.
But I think you have to look at it from it comes across as good management, and there's good chairperson skills. If you're a chairperson, you invest in the running of the club, you invest in everything from the top all the way down to the bottom. You've got to have the best interests at heart. In the last 10 years, Celtic, since the millennium, Celtic have won 36 trophies. They've improved a lot of things at Celtic in terms of the playing aspect. I always said that there is loads to do at Celtic Park in terms of match day hospitality. I think, and match day prices, I think they maybe need to get reviewed this season. But as you can appreciate, there's certain things that will always need improved. I think kind of halftime entertainment needs to be improved. Certain little things that I don't think is obviously the chairman's role, but he'll obviously oversee everything and have a kind of look at things. But I think you've got to kind of look at it as a kind of success, because let's be honest, 36 trophies since the millennium.
That's pretty scary. Yeah, that's nearly 2 trophies a season. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think to be honest, just to touch on that point where you were saying things could be done, just kind of daft things like entertainment and things like that. And I agree with that. And I've always said, I've said for long enough, I don't know why Celtic don't do it, because they've got the space outside to do it. Have a fan zone before the games. I've been down to Man City games where, they've got the stage up and they've got singers on and they've got different things on for the kids and all the rest of it. So I think Celtic could easily tap into that market, and it would bring fans up to the games a lot earlier in the day and make it a kind of carnival, make every game a carnival atmosphere type thing. Not just for trophy day, don't just leave it for trophy day or celebrations, just have it for every home game, because listen, things are going to cost money at the end of the day, but I'm sure Celtic know enough companies, enough people to get something sorted for the season. I think that would be great. I know Celtic are doing, there's a thing in the Jockstein Concourse tomorrow inside the stadium for kids, like face painting and beat the goalie and things like that. I think there's a private section for that, which is great, obviously, but I think we need to be doing stuff outside the ground kind of thing as well as inside the ground. But in terms of Ian Bankia, obviously, he's I would say it's been a success purely because even when he's brought people like Ronnie Dyla in, who, let's face it, was billed as winning a golden ticket in a chocolate factory at when he first came in, and then from that it was very, very unlucky not winning a treble. He was a whisker away from winning a treble if Inverness hadn't cheated in the Scottish Cup semi-final. Still no got over that. Never mind 10 in a row season. I'm still not over that Josh Meekins handball. I still know everything about it. I can still see it. But no, to be honest, Ronnie Dyla had a reasonably successful Celtic career in the time that he was here. He done what I think somebody says somebody made a point where you can't get to 10 without passing 4 and 5. It was something like that. So I think that's a good way to look at it, because he came in, he'd done the job that he was meant to do. He came in and won the titles for us and kept it going, kind of thing. So I think even bringing somebody like Ronnie Dyle at the club, who we weren't too sure about, and I think the fans probably were glad to see the back of him, to go from that to bring in a guy like Brendan Rodgers, boo, hiss. I know I'm still over him as well, leaving, to be fair. But to get a guy like Brendan Rodgers, who was a whisker away from winning the league with Liverpool down south, I think that's an amazing achievement as well. And I know there was a whole story linked to when we lost in penalties to Rangers under Dyler, and there's a whole story. I think it was, I don't know if it was Dermot Desmond or a couple of the directors went in, and there was unsavoury singing in the director's box by the Rangers hierarchy. So I think they went away from that thinking, we're going to finish this mob, we're going to bury this mob, and they went out and got Brendan Rodgers, and obviously the rest, as they say, is history. It led us to going on to complete a quadruple treble between Rodgers and O'Neill, Rodgers and Lennon rather. So I think it's been a success. I know people won't like Ian Bankia because he's AGM debacles. He doesn't really speak much. I don't think you don't see a lot of him in the press. But I think at 70 years old, I think we can all agree he probably deserves to hang up his jacket and go and enjoy his retirement, kind of thing.
Well, I say, that season with Brendan Rodgers, the Invincible season, first 2 seasons were out of the last 20 years, I reckon. And apart from O'Neill in 2003-04, maybe Strachan 08, I found those 2 years are very, very enjoyable seasons, in terms of the amount of, players that, like Tierney, was on fire. We absolutely loved Kieran Tierney. We loved Dembele. We just loved Lustig. We loved, the players surrounding that sort of era at the club. And even Craig Gordon in goals. I think Craig Gordon had his peak years at Celtic at that point in time. So that's those seasons stood out for me. But yeah, bringing in, the big Brendan Rodgers again, whether he left or in bad terms or not, I feel as though he done Celtic a lot of good, and that needs to be recognised more so than the exit, I suppose.
Definitely. So obviously we'll get on to the B team now. We'll have a look at their season's already kind of started as well, played the first couple of games. But just in terms of the last season then, I don't know if you got to many of the games or seen many of the games. Obviously Tommy McIntyre, the second season in the Lowland League. I think it's a really good idea to have him down there. Obviously it's annoying because you can't get promotion, you can't get relegation, and I don't think you can win any cups, so it does seem a bit pointless to most people. But I think it's great because they're playing at a level like that. Do you know what I mean? I was speaking to Paul Slane last night when I was at Fives, just randomly turning up him. I think the under-20s of Broomhill FC, I think it is. They were obviously training last night, kind of thing. So, I was speaking to him about the season they played. They were playing civil service strollers today. We finished third last year. Level in points with Rangers. Bonnyrigg obviously won the league by a distance. But do you see the Celtic B team going one step further, maybe getting that second spot above Rangers, finishing above them, purely for bragging rights?
They could do, the B team last season. I think even today, was it 2 each? Was it against Spartans? I think they drew 2 each just in a game.
Yeah.
Today, they're a team that always they're going to be. They're hopefully going to be Ange's kind of B team. That's the way we want it. We want the filtration of the style of football kind of development into the kind of the B team, and hopefully the style works throughout that league. But if we can get it kind of continuity, I think is the best thing to achieve here. If we can get obviously the team playing at a certain standard, we equally want the B team playing at that standard. And as you can see, Ange Ball does works. It does work. It works very well. So get the B team to play the Ange Ball that we need, and I think it will be a successful season. Finish above them for bragging rights for talking's sake. But as long as we're playing good football, and it can be a place where players can, find themselves. That's a point.
I think when you look at players, especially that came from the B team and got their chance in the top team as well. You've got Owen Moffat, Rocco Vat, Joey Dawson towards last season kind of thing as well, and was it Bosin Lowell? I think that's how you pronounce it, kind of thing. I think Ben Wiley as well was a player that's broke through. Do you think there's a player down there that's maybe close to kind of breaking through? I know probably Johnny Kenny, I've said, was probably, I think, the closest I've seen to being full team ready.
Johnny Kenny does look like a decent goal scorer. The thing is that you've got to appreciate that. The B team's there, but we've got a massive squad. Like, we've got an absolutely ginormous squad of players that can that are in the A team. And I know that there were, again last season they were unlucky. And it wasn't as if they were bad. They were actually all right. They were decent enough. But Law, I think again he is a player. I think he's got a coolness about him. Whether he can make it or not, I don't know. Moffat again, who knows if he can make it? That's something that we actually see snippets of. I think it was against Mirren last season, wasn't it? Moffat. Yeah,
there was a few games that we kind of seen him come off the bench kind of thing and impress. So hopefully he's. I mean, listen, obviously it's so far this season it's a win, a draw, and a defeat. Or a win, a defeat, and a draw rather. So, it's been a 4 points out of 9. Isn't a bad return so far. And obviously we're away to civil service strollers on Tuesday night before playing East Kilbride on Friday. So, just obviously, good luck to Tommy McIntyre and Darren O'Dea and Stephen McManus. Just to touch on Stephen McManus, there is a job opening at Fir Park. Do you see Stephen McManus being tipped for it?
Possibly. There was Motherwell fans that I know, and I was saying to them, I said, you should maybe try Neil Lennon. You might fancy a wee spell. And they all went, you want to see the responses I've got? I won't even mention them, but you can appreciate I got. McManus again, a player and manager that has taken over, part-time at Celtic, has looked after the club, and he's looked at a Brendan Rodgers team, and he's learned off of Brendan Rodgers, and he's learned off of Ange Postecoglou, and now comes with an experience of managing. So he could be going to Motherwell, but whether it happens or not, I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can keep him because I think he's a good asset to have to Celtic. But again, adding something to your CV like being a manager of a club, then you need to maybe take it. Who knows?
Yeah, and obviously, in terms of then the girls, obviously last year under Fran Alonso, double cup success, the first time in the club's history that we've won 2 cups, kind of thing. I was at both finals. I wasn't at the Scottish Cup final, unfortunately, but I was at the League Cup final on a bitterly cold night in December in Firhill. I genuinely, it was a 1-0, it was a plucky 1-0 win, but it was a deserved 1-0, and it was a deserved win against Glasgow City again. A great advert for the Scottish women's game. I don't know if you've seen the Scottish Cup final at Tynecastle.
Aye, a tremendous season, Gary, for the girls team. I think they've been, excellent, and I think even during the summer, I think it was they were playing Hearts with 3-0, wasn't it? So there's I think it was. I was recent. It was only a couple of. I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago, wasn't it? It was only so. They're hoping to press on this season. It's nice seeing the kind of women's football getting a lot of attention. Especially with regards to like the Euro Championships, which again this weekend, big final, England versus Germany.
We'll get our Germany tops on tomorrow.
So I mean, it's one of the ones that you've you can see improving and gaining popularity. Again, it's brilliant seeing Celtic do well. I would have Celtic in any team, anything to do with Celtic. I'd even support the Boston Celtics, mate. That's the way I see it. Doesn't matter, just make sure Celtic win in all fronts. It's nice to see across the board, and it gets the popularity up, and it also encourages young girls to go out and play football and not feel bad about it, and go and enjoy going to training and having fun. The same way. You look at the setup of boys football and the scouting academies. The same can happen for girls as well. It needs to be inspired. It needs to be lifted. It needs to be encouraged. At every opportunity. And Celtic doing the business in that regard's a real positive for everyone. It's got so many benefits.
Yeah, and obviously, Fran's made a couple of signings. Obviously, Lucy Ashworth being from the Lewes, which was, fun enough, Fran Alonso's former side. That's the thing. I don't think you've touched on. Obviously, women's football doesn't get, or hasn't had, a great time of it lately, kind of thing. I think it is getting bigger. I think it is getting kind of more coverage, kind of thing. And I've been to a couple of the women's games now, and you can't tell the difference. I would say it's more of a family day out, rather than, it doesn't seem like you're going to see a competitive game of football. You're going because you want to support the girls, and I think it's getting bigger, especially with likes of Celtic and Rangers. They're backing the girls, they're letting them play at the men's first team stadiums, and so when they're getting to play at Celtic Park, it's massive, not just for them but for their families as well. So in terms of, obviously, the new signings, I think I think Amy Gallagher was the other signing. Do you think then, obviously winning the two cups last season, do you think Fran Alonso's purely basing this on let's go for the league now? Because obviously there's a lot of competition. Rangers have improved. They obviously done well last year and winning the league. We've kind of ended, between the two of us, we've ended Glasgow City's dominance in women's football, kind of thing. I think it was something like 14 titles in a row Glasgow City won. So do you think Celtic could battle it out with Rangers then? Obviously Glasgow City will still be there, but do you see us going for the title and making that a main focus?
Certainly looks like it. It looks like it. Fran Alonso's looking to get that title over the line. You say Glasgow City have been a team in women's football which have kind of stood out and been the main focus, for women's football. I think in Scotland particularly, the full thing about women's football is that I'm just glad Celtic were the first team, I think, in 2018 to make women's football full time. It was full professional. So Celtic are obviously trying to get the team as good as possible. Ange Ball, I get Ange Ball, kind of maybe Fran Ball, just sort of similar stuff. And I think hopefully, this season's a catalyst for the women's team. Celtic, again, have got to go for that league title. They've got to just play. I mean, the success this year, I can't see why we can't do it. I can't see why it can't happen. It'll take a lot of hard work, but as I say, Glasgow City and Rangers, both teams are extremely good. So it's just try to get Fran Ball going.
Yeah, and obviously, like they were like, it has got a standard of football he likes to play. It's that kind of European style of football that wants to see the girls play. And he's had some great experience with clubs all over. But I know he took them to Madrid for a training camp. I mean, I could think he was. I could think he was training camps to go to be fair, to go to Madrid. But in terms of obviously going forward, I know that the season ticket prices came out for obviously the men's first team, but obviously the women's team and the B team. I'm just actually trying to double check on the what do you call it, prices, but I think that £100 for a season ticket for the women's season, it's not too bad in terms of when you look at how many games they play. I don't know if it's 20 odd games or something. So, it's not too bad if it's something that you're into and something that you could get into. I think I'm definitely going to try and get to a lot more B team games and women's team games as well, kind of thing. I know obviously Juddy talks, he's doing great things now, and he's got a massive team behind him now. He's building a real bit of success. He's covering a lot of it as well, kind of thing. That's the kind of benchmark for me. That's the benchmark we want to get to. Do you know what I mean? But as I say, like, obviously going to try and get to more games, kind of thing. So just to kind of finish on then, John, what are you looking forward to most in this season? I know obviously Kilmarnock are back in the league. We've still got obviously tough games. Aberdeen look a different animal. I think they're going to improve massively. Hibs under Lee Johnson, Aidan McGeady back in the league. Is there a certain game that you're looking forward to? Maybe a bit of revenge for last season that we missed out on?
I think what I look forward to most, Gary, I look forward to the hard games the most. And I know, I think last season, a massive game, we mentioned it at the kind of end of season review, the Ross County game where Tony Ralston scored. The hard games this season where we get across the line and no more are the ones that are going to prove consistency this season. It's going to prove that we can win games despite how hard it is, despite how solid these defenders are in the league. I think what I'm looking forward to most is obviously the Champions League. I think that's a fantastic, fantastic place for Celtic to be. Celtic belong in the Champions League. Champions of Scotland should be playing in the Champions of Europe. Like, they should just be up there competing. It'll be brilliant to see. And I think the Celtic will, what I'm looking forward to is just the, getting the games in which we lost last season, getting them off our back, starting off well. Don't need to go to Tynecastle and lose a game and try to learn Ange Ball. Everybody knows Ange Ball, and if they haven't been paying attention, then obviously they need to start paying attention, because I think it's going to be a very exciting season. I think that's a general thing, but what do you think, Gary?
I think, to be honest, I do agree that, when you go to places like Ross County and go to places like Livingston where we haven't had success of late there, and, even like, winning an away game for the first time in 8 months and things like that, and going to beat Hibs for the first time since 2014, I think, to get them off our backs last season, I think it's games you look forward to going and regularly winning again, kind of thing. I'm looking forward to, obviously, Champions League. Hearing that Champions League music. What I would like is for Celtic to actually hire a proper DJ to do different sets with the disco lights, because I feel like the last few times I've been at games where we've used the disco lights, it's just been a bit monotonous. It's a bit of the same every week, whereas I think if you got a proper DJ in, I think you could do some really cool stuff with the lights and the music, kind of thing. So that's just me nitpicking, to be honest. But no, as I say, just looking forward to the season kicking off, and Callum McGregor, brilliant gesture by the club to let him unfurl the league flag, kind of thing.
Sorry, mate, I need to play this in the background. Sorry, mate. What's that? I'll skip to the main part, mate. Wait a minute, mate. I'll just skip to the...
Oh, absolute goosebumps.
Magical.
Absolute goosebumps when you hear that, honestly.
It's see these nights, you've got like Bayern Munich, you've got Real Madrid, you've got Atletico Madrid, you've got guys from down south, you get like Spurs, Man City, you've got Liverpool. Who knows who we're going to get? We'll beat them all. Doesn't matter. We'll take them all.
I mean, listen, I'm just imagining. I've always wanted Tottenham in Europe. I can remember the last time Tottenham played Celtic. I think we played them at Celtic Partner Friendly, and it was years ago. And I'll tell you how far back it was. I think we won 1-0. And the goal scorer was a guy that was on loan called Charles Edward Corridon. And he had big fuzzy hair, and that's the only thing I ever remember him. I don't think he was way as long, even on loan. I think he disappeared. But, I don't know if he went back to France or not, but that's the last time I remember him. And I'm just picturing more and more Carter Vickers scoring the winning goal and Joe Hart making a penalty save later on. Just absolute karma. Absolute karma. But that's just dreaming, obviously. And we will do a proper Champions League show. I'm looking at the season ticket prices for anybody that's looking for season tickets for the women's team and the B team. Celtic are actually doing a combined season ticket for the B team and the women's team. It's a minimum of 37 home games, and it's £120. It's discounted price £100. So £100 to go and see the women's team and the B team combined is actually. It's a great deal, to be honest, if you can't get to the home games. Obviously the pricing of the men's kind of first team games can be a bit too much at times. So, if something like that could be more affordable, then that's brilliant. And to be honest, it'd be well worth paying just the £100, even if you couldn't make it. Certain weeks, just get other people to go. But we're going to leave it there for week 1 of the podcast. As I say, you can follow us on the socials, guys. Just search Celtic FC Appreciation. We're on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And also you can check out our YouTube channels, more daily Celtic content there. Just search Celtic FC Appreciation. And remember to hit that subscribe button, hit the wee alarm bell to get notifications as well of all the stuff. If we can just convince John to get some TikTok stuff up for the new season when he's going to the games. I know he's on the page, so he can just fire that up or go live.
Need those login details, Gary. Need you send them to me, mate.
Aye, definitely. Because I'm thinking
like technology, mate. Technology is just not the game, but if you send them across to me, mate, I'll try my best. TikTok, I'm good at, so
definitely. As I say, are you going to game tomorrow?
I will be, mate. Yeah.
As I say, what do you think the score will be?
I think it will be convincing. I think it will be a 3-1 to Celtic.
3-1. We are shipping goals, to be honest, but I don't think Aberdeen will score tomorrow. I think it's going to be 3 or 4-0 as well. I'm thinking we're going to come out the traps flying, and I think we'll hit 3 or 4 tomorrow. I know Aberdeen are going to have a better season. This season, I can already feel it, but tomorrow's just going to be too big an occasion. They're not going to be able to rise to the occasion tomorrow. So listen, guys, as I say, keep liking the page, keep going on YouTube and hitting that subscribe button. It does not cost a thing, and we're going to try and get as much Celtic content up there as possible. But until next Saturday, guys, because obviously we get to do Saturday shows because we're in the Champions League this year. That is amazing. I hated the Sunday shows, honestly, because I had work the next day. But the Saturday night shows are back every week, and we're going to try and get some more guests on to interview as well. So till next time, guys, hail, hail.
Hail, hail.